the Sharwil avocado variety. It is one whose fruit everyone loves. But what about the tree? We thank Australia for this variety. It came from the Redland Bay farm of Frank Sharp, later sold to James Wilson near Brisbane, Australia. It was introduced in 1954. It came to California in the 1950s as well. They named the variety Sharwil by putting their names together. Sharp and Wilson, Sharwil. And one of the distinguishing characteristics of this variety is the red flecks on its new stems. Some other varieties have that, like Fuerte. Some varieties don't have it, such as Hass. Anyway, what are the other characteristics of this variety? Let's look at some other trees. This Sharwil tree, I think, shows a couple of typical attributes of Sharwil. One thing is the beauty of its foliage. Just look how deep green it is. Really attractive. Sharwils are among the prettiest trees, I think. And another is the kind of bushy yet open canopy architecture. A little bit. You'd almost call it rangy, but the downside of that aspect of Sharwil is this: that you get these branches growing out, and then they, if they set fruit, especially, like there's some avocados down here, then it weighs down the branch and you get some sunburn. So what you have to do is make sure you sort of tip or head back those long wild hair type branches so that you don't get that. Isn't the fruit nice? Yeah, the fruit's nice. And this tree has a decent little crop on it that's mature at the moment. Not a heavy crop, but there's fruit all around. And notice what's also happening. It's got a good amount of flowers that are just emerging. This is March, and so you know, it's not showing that much alternation, this tree in particular, this year. It's got a moderate crop and it's got a good bloom coming on, so that's nice. This tree here is about as upright and tall as I've ever seen a Sharwil tree. They generally don't grow this straight up, but this tree on the right is also a Sharwil, planted at the same time, and you can see that it's got a more bushy shape, and so it's probably just a function of the rootstock that that one is growing far more vertically than most Sharwils grow. It's probably a rootstock influence. Now here's a Sharwil tree that was top worked about 1.5 years ago. And as you can see, the growth has been nice, but it's got next to no flowers. There's just a few here and there, but basically no flowers. Compare that to this other tree right here. It was also top worked 1.5 years ago, Sharwil, and it's got a whole lot of flowers and fruit set. And so of course the rootstock can make a big difference with Sharwil, as with every other avocado tree. As for the general harvest season of Sharwil, in Southern California they're generally ready in February. This is mid-May. As you can see, there's no fruit left on this tree, and that's because in an inland location like this is inland San Diego County, they start to drop and the season's pretty much over in May at some point. They don't like to hang past May around here. You could get them to hang a little later in a cooler climate, but the season generally has a heart of like March, April. It begins in February and it ends sometime around May or so, at least in an inland Southern California location. Sharwil's usefulness, either in a backyard or on a farm, might be as much for the quality of its own fruit, which is as good as any avocado on the planet. In addition, since it's a B-type flower, it can enhance the productivity of A-types. So this here is a lamb, and I can't say for sure whether it's Sharwil pollen that has helped the fruit set on this lamb, but something has sure helped the fruit set on this lamb. It looks like a cherry tree almost. It's got so much fruit set on it, and that's at least possibly related to being located a foot away from these Sharwil flowers.